Okay, so you're putting in the work at the gym, you're pushing hard, feeling good, great stuff.
Absolutely.
But then, think about this. Maybe after that tough session, or just, winding down, do you ever grab a drink? It happens, right?
Oh, yeah, it's really common. A
Yeah.
social thing, a relaxation thing. But what if that very drink is kind of quietly undoing some of your progress?
That is exactly what we're getting into today. We found this really great article on BoostGB. It's called B022, How Drinking Impacts Your Gym Progress and What to Do About It.
And the cool thing is, this isn't just guesswork. BoostGB has taken actual research and made it, well, understandable for everyone.
Yeah, they're great at that, making the science accessible.
So our mission here in this deep dive is to shed some light on how alcohol can interact with your fitness journey, especially muscle growth, recovery, the stuff you're working for.
We're going to dig into the science, the studies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And give you clear takeaways, things you can actually use without all the super technical jargon. Think of it as the friendly guide to alcohol and muscles.
Okay, let's get into it then. When we talk about building muscle, getting those gains, what's actually happening in the body? What's the core process?
Right. So the key thing is called muscle protein synthesis, MPS for short.
MPS. Okay.
Basically, when you exercise, you cause tiny bits of damage to your muscles. MPS is your body's repair crew. It rebuilds those muscle fibers, makes them stronger, bigger.
Ah, okay. Repair and rebuild.
Yeah. And it really kicks in when you've got enough protein coming in and you've given your muscles that workout stimulus. You need synthesis to be higher than breakdown.
Got it. Like a construction team beefing things up. Now, the article mentions something called the MTOR pathway. Sounds science-y.
It is a bit technical, yeah. MTOR. Think of it like the master control switch for muscle building inside your cells.
A master switch.
Exactly. It gets signals from things like protein you've eaten or the stress from exercise, and it basically flips the switch to grow.
Okay, makes sense.
But here's the kicker.
Uh-huh.
Alcohol seems to directly interfere with this. It inhibits the MTOR pathway.
So it blocks the signal.
Yeah. Alcohol is basically telling your body not to build muscle as effectively.
Wow. So I could be doing everything else right, lifting, eating protein, and then a few drinks could just hit the pause button on growth. The article really put it bluntly. You are messing with your gains.
That sums it up pretty well. By slowing down MPS and messing with MTOR, alcohol makes it harder for your body to repair and build muscle after you train.
Okay, that's the mechanism. But BoostGB also pointed to specific studies in the article. Let's talk about that research.
Yes, definitely. They highlighted a recent one, 2024, published in Quality in Sport. It was by Dobaz and some colleagues over at the Medical University of Lodz in Poland.
Poland, okay. And what kind of study was it?
It was a review of literature and meta-analyses. So basically, they gathered findings from lots of existing studies on alcohol and athletes to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's a strong way to get a reliable overview.
Right, combining all the evidence. Smart. What were the main conclusions?
Well, the review consistently showed a few key things. First, alcohol definitely seems to hinder recovery after exercise.
Okay, slower recovery.
Second, it reduces protein synthesis, that MPS thing we just talked about.
Plus building.
And third, it confirmed that alcohol disrupts that MTOR signaling pathway. So the research really backs up the idea that alcohol can be a significant roadblock.
Seems pretty conclusive. But wait, the article also mentioned something slightly different. The beer hate study. What's that?
Ah, yes. That adds an interesting layer. So the beer hit study actually found that drinking moderate amounts of alcohol didn't seem to significantly cancel out the benefits of high-intensity interval training, HIIT.
Really? So moderate drinking was okay with HIIT?
It suggests the impact might depend on the type of exercise. Maybe the way your body recovers from intense cardio, like HIA, is affected differently by alcohol compared to resistance training, which is much more about that direct muscle growth.
Interesting. So it's not just a simple alcohol is always bad for exercise message. There's nuance.
Exactly. It's more complex than that, which is good to know.
Okay, so we've covered the direct muscle impact. But the BoostGB piece mentioned other ways alcohol can affect progress, right? Beyond just the muscles themselves.
Oh, absolutely. It goes further. The article talks about how alcohol messes with your overall recovery, too. Like it negatively impacts sleep quality.
Which is crucial for recovery, yeah.
Totally. Muscles repair a lot during sleep. Hormones get regulated. Alcohol disrupts that. It also dehydrates you, which isn't great for any bodily function, let alone recovery.
Dehydration, poor sleep, not a good combo for getting stronger.
And then there are hormones. Alcohol can mess with hormone levels, including ones important for muscle building, like testosterone.
Okay, so sleep, hydration, hormones. It hits recovery from multiple angles. What about drinking before a workout? Any word on that?
Yes, and it's not great news either. Research suggests drinking beforehand can lead to feeling tired faster, having less endurance, and actually getting less strength benefit from that specific workout.
So it hurts performance during the session, too.
Right, both immediate performance and long-term adaptation.
Which makes that paradox of active drinkers the article mentioned even more interesting. The idea that people who exercise regularly sometimes drink more.
It's a strange one, isn't it? It really shows there might be a disconnect for some people. You're dedicated to fitness, but maybe not fully aware of how the drinks might be working against those goals.
Yeah, definitely food for thought. Now, we should probably be fair. The article did mention some limitations, right? About the research itself.
Good point. It's important context. BoostGB always tries to show the full picture. So first, that main study was a literature review, meaning its strength depends on the studies it included.
Right, it's summarizing other research.
And second, how alcohol affects you can vary a lot. Your metabolism, how often you drink, how much, it's not the same for everyone.
Individual differences matter.
Definitely. And third, some of the studies they looked at might have involved really heavy drinking, which might not reflect, say, having 1 or 2 drinks occasionally.
Okay, so it's not totally black and white, and maybe extreme examples skew things a bit. Good caveats. But based on what we do know, what are the practical tips? What can people actually do if they want to, balance fitness and enjoying a drink sometimes?
This is where BoostGB really helps, translating the research into action. The article lays out some clear advice. First, and maybe most obvious, try to limit overall intake.
Okay, moderation.
And maybe especially limit drinking right after a workout. That's prime recovery time. You don't want to interfere then if you can help it.
Makes sense. Give your muscles a chance to start repairing. What else?
Sleep. Since alcohol can mess with sleep, making quality sleep a priority becomes even more important if you do drink. Aim for that solid 7-9 hours.
Right, double down on good sleep hygiene.
And hydration. Alcohol is dehydrating, so consciously drinking more water, especially around times you might have alcohol, is a smart move.
Water, water, water. Got it. What about food after training?
Yeah, fuel properly. Getting enough high-quality protein after your workout is always key for MPS, and it might help mitigate some of alcohol's negative effects too.
Good protein helps the repair process.
And then there's timing. If possible, maybe try to have drinks on your rest days, not on days you've done intense training. Give your body a clear window to recover.
Okay, strategic timing. Separating training and drinking days.
And generally, just supporting your recovery with a healthy lifestyle overall becomes more critical if alcohol is part of the picture. Good nutrition, hydration, sleeping,
The fundamentals.
the basics become even more important.
One last thing, the article points out that binge drinking seems to be significantly worse than having smaller amounts more moderately spaced out. So avoiding those big drinking sessions is probably beneficial for your fitness.
Right, frequency and quantity matter. Some really useful practical stuff there from BoostGB. Now, before we wrap up, the article included a pretty stark reminder, didn't it? Something beyond just muscle gains. It did. The Boost summary section made a really crucial point. Putting fitness aside for a moment, alcohol is technically classified as a carcinogen and a neurotoxin.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it stresses that any amount carries some risk, potentially causing damage to the brain and increasing the risk for certain cancers.
Oh.
It even points people to another BoostGB blog, B015, if they want to learn more about those broader health impacts.
So it's important to remember the bigger health picture, not just the gym progress. Thanks, BoostGB, for including that context.
Absolutely. It frames the whole discussion differently.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what's the main takeaway for you, our listener, trying to balance fitness goals and maybe enjoying a social life that includes alcohol?
I think the core idea is that alcohol can be a hidden hurdle for your fitness progress, especially for muscle building and recovery. It's often underestimated.
An obstacle.
Yeah. But the good news is, by understanding how it works and making conscious choices about how much, when, and supporting your recovery in other ways, you can definitely minimize that negative impact. You can still make progress.
It's about informed choices. And the article ends with a great question, doesn't it? Next time you reach for a drink, consider whether it's worth the potential setback to your gains. Your muscles will thank you.
Powerful question. Makes you think.
It really does. So if this deep dive was useful and you want more insights like this research made accessible, definitely head over to boostgb.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter.
Yeah, they send out great summaries and breakdowns of studies relevant to health and performance. Really valuable stuff.
And if you like watching rather than just listening, check out the Boost UB YouTube channel too. They often have visual explainers and more deep dives there.
Good shout. Lots of ways to get this info.
Ultimately, like we said, it's about having the knowledge to make the best choices for your health, your fitness, and your life. Keep learning, keep striving.